Nostradamus was a 16th-century seer. He and his prophecies, revered by some, ridiculed by others, are still well known today, centuries after he lived, and continue to be the subject of debate. Nostradamus wrote his first set of quatrains, four-line predictions, in 1555, and books are still being rolled out today. First, we will dive into a few of his most interesting calls. Then we will see what he thinks is in store for us in 2024. Death of Henry II. Prediction. The young lion will overcome the older one. On the field of combat in a single battle, he will pierce his eyes through a golden cage, 2 wounds made 1, then he dies a cruel death. What happened? In the summer of 1559, King Henry II of France, older one, lined up to joust the Comte de Montgomery, young lion, 6 years his junior, on the fields of France. Both had lions on their shields. In their final pass, Montgomery's lance tilted up and burst through the king's visor, splintering to pieces. 2 shards, one through the eye, pierced his eyes through a golden cage, and one through the temple, lodged in the king's head. 2 wounds made 1. Henry suffered for 10 days, then he dies a cruel death, before dying in his bed. French Revolution. Prediction. From the enslaved populace, songs, chants, and demands. While princes and lords are held captive in prisons, these will in the future by headless idiots be received as divine prayers. What happened? In 1789, the French people decided they'd had enough of poor aristocratic rule and revolted. The peasants, enslaved populace, took control of Paris and forced their demands on royalty. The aristocracy, princes and lords, were taken from power, were locked in the Bastille, prisons, and beheaded at the guillotine. Headless idiots. Hitler. Prediction. From the depths of the west of Europe, a young child will be born of poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce a great troop, his fame will increase towards the realm of the east. Also, beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. The greater part of the battlefield will be against Hister. Into a cage of iron will the great one be drawn, when the child of Germany observes nothing. What happened? On April 20th, 1889, Hitler was born in Western Europe, to very poor parents. Hitler moved Germany to action in the years following World War I, in part, who by his tongue, through his over-the-top oratory skills. His fame will increase towards the realm of the East. The Axis alliance with Japan in the East. Hister is believed to be a spelling error. The German army invading France, beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers, and the greater battlefield refers to the Allied powers defeating Hitler. The atomic bomb. Prediction. Near the gates, and within 2 cities, there will be scourges the like of which was never seen, famine within plague, people put out by steel, crying to the great immortal God for relief. What happened? In early August 1945, the United States dropped 2 atomic weapons on the island of Japan, within 2 cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The suffering endured by those in the blast and the radiation poisoning suffered by those who escaped the immediate detonation, crying to the great immortal God for relief. JFK and RFK assassinations. Prediction. The great man will be struck down in the day by a thunderbolt, an evil deed foretold by the bearer of a petition. According to the prediction, another falls at night time. Conflict at Rheims, London, and a pestilence in Tuscany. What happened? The great man, John Kennedy, received numerous death threats, petition, and was gunned down, thunderbolt, in the afternoon of November 22, 1963. Bobby Kennedy was killed just after midnight on June 5, 1968. Another falls at nighttime. The world mourned. Conflict at Rheims, London. Now that we have established his predicting capabilities, let's jump in and see what he has in store for us now. But first, don't forget to subscribe, so you don't miss any of our intriguing content. Now let's get back to our video. A huge naval war. Prediction. Red adversary will become pale with fear, putting the great ocean in dread. What's supposed to happen? The world will witness a terrible naval war in 2024. Some analysts have interpreted this as referring to an attack by China on Taiwan, as the flag of China is red in color. All hail King Harry? Prediction. King of the Isles would be driven out by force. Soon after, a disastrous war. A new king shall be anointed, who for a long time will appease the earth, one who will have no mark of a king. What's supposed to happen? In an interview with the tabloid Daily Mail, author Mario Reading said that the King of Isles may be a reference to King Charles III, who has had a controversial divorce, being driven out by force, and Harry replacing him, rather than William or any of his children, as the man who has no mark of a king. An imminent climatic catastrophe. Prediction. The dry earth will grow more parched, and there will be great floods when it is seen. Very great famine through pestiferous wave. What's supposed to happen? The astrologer warned that climatic changes will continue to wreak havoc on us. This may indicate rising global temperature and heat wave due to greenhouse effect. He warns of storms leading to starvation, potentially referring to tsunamis destroying agriculture and allowing disease and starvation to take hold. A new pope. Prediction. Through the death of a very old pontiff, a Roman of good age will be elected. Of him it will be said that he weakens his see, but long will he sit and in biting activity. The astrologer predicted that Pope Francis, the current religious head for the Catholics, could have a replacement. While the arrival of a younger, vigorous pope sounds like a good thing, Nostradamus immediately goes on to say that the new leader will weaken his see, and that he will be pope for a long time. The exact meaning of weaken is of course open to debate. Does he mean the influence of the church will somehow lessen, or is some greater scandal on the way? Time will tell. But if Nostradamus is any indication, the 2020s will continue to bring proverbial interesting times for us all. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into Nostradamus's predictions. Don't forget to share it with your friends who might also be interested in these prophecies. We would love to hear from you, so please leave your thoughts on these predictions in the comments. Stay vigilant and stay curious.